going to circle back to the phrase that you said twice, which is this tension between should I be a visionary or am I delusional? Right? So tell me in one sentence, what is the vision that you are having? And tell me what is the delusion that you fear you are having?
Right. I think the vision that we like is to basically broker partnerships and projects that looks at including vulnerable communities. So in a lot of business conversations today, we purely talk about bottom line and we see customers almost as numbers. But we want to layer on those nuances where if we consider them as people, whether is it internal building, organizational building or external business, formation, then there's just so much impact that we can do. So example, if I were to sell toothpaste, right, I can easily spend millions of dollars coming out with a jingle and promoting it. But there are ways that I can also perhaps design dental programs, for communities on the ground and come up with clinics and spend the money, while creating visibility of your brand.
Okay.
So that I think is our vision. Like we really want to broker projects at that level.
Okay. So what I'm hearing is the vision is, can we help more people in the corporate sector sort of examine the societal impact of their business decisions?
Not necessarily. Okay, so I guess it's the part where I feel a bit naive saying that. Okay. I think what we hope to do as a business is to be valuable enough where a business will look at us and say, this is a company that will help me grow. But the way the tools and the techniques that we utilize to help them grow includes the vulnerable communities. So we don't compromise on the bottom line, but we also not compromise on the kind of social good we believe can be done.
So the vision is to get more in the corporate sector to actually start to see how to include the vulnerable in their business decisions or the way they carry out business. Okay.
Yeah, and perhaps there is also the space that we are noticing that is happening is with governments, because especially in Singapore government is very committed towards like serving the social sector.
Okay.
So we are starting to see also more engagement with them, to think a little bit more multi-sectorial, to think a little bit more integrated. So that's the part that I feel we can play the bridge.
Okay.
The part that I feel a bit delusional is that people care about these things.
And like you're wondering whether you're deluding yourself that people care about such things. Yeah. And by people, you mean like businesses?
I think most of the people we've interacted with, because we think in a very connected way. Yes. Like everything is sort of linked if you hear the way I share. Yeah.
And I'm going to stop you there. Like anyone who gets into this field, that's how we think.
Correct.
That everything is interconnected.
Yeah.
And that is, I think, what drives other people outside nuts.
Yeah, correct.
Like, why must you make it so complicated?
Yeah, so, okay, maybe I can give an example. I had the chance of serving a charity where I got to actually interact with the people who execute and the ED himself. And I remembered that when I spoke to one and the other, I felt like I was talking to people in different worlds, but within the same organization. So the conversation we had was, can the charity be a leader in fostering social inclusion for persons with special needs? And the ED was very excited about the vision and, is trying to push, for what inclusion can look.
Yeah.
But when I speak to, the person executing on the ground, they're just drowned with, administrative work.
Yes.
And it's fascinating because when we pitch a project, we are saying, I believe in the social inclusion work, but I think it will take 5 years to get there. And the priority number one, first year, right, is to help alleviate the workload of your members.
Yes.
And that's always kind of disconcerting because I am doing work that doesn't necessarily seem to fit the vision.
In whose perspective?
In the ED's, potentially. Because I'm coming in to clean up, their work, their paperwork and all, helping them, design the programs together, helping them serve their clients, together. And I think that is, because of that tension, we are constantly talking, back and forth between the high-level stuff and the ground.
Like I can see where you're getting at because it's quite hard for any organization, even whether they're a non-profit or a business, to digest that as much as you want to do good for the outside world and shift the, let's say, the unjust dynamics outside, it's hard to do that without first looking inside at the unjust dynamics of what's going on there. And I know unjust is a very tough term, but that's what it is. And you can't be emotional about it. It's just like, how do we balance out the way we do work in our own organization so that we can balance out the kind of work that we do outside?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the part, like, it's the in-between part that makes me wonder if people really noticed it.
No.
and I guess that's my delusion, right? Because we are selling a service that's trying to bridge this gap all the time. So within that context, I would go to the director and say, I acknowledge that, you know, your heart is in the right place and you're trying to endeavor towards that. Let me help you. And then I'll work on the ground and say, you know, let's not look too far ahead. Let's look at your short term and how can we create value for you in the short term. And of course, for us, the benefit is we have a great partnership with this particular charity and we are continuing on a long-term, you know, basis, or thankfully with some budget, you know, to cover our costs. That, I think, gives me hope that there is a potential for this service. But yeah, it's something that I wrestle with all the time, because when I speak to different people, they will say exactly the same thing you say. Why are you making it so complicated?